Hello, everyone, and welcome to Petite to Queen's Claim Your Career Crown podcast. I'm your host, Lynn, and today I'm joined by our special guest, Noelle Peterson. Today, we're going to be talking about visioning and manifesting, why dreaming big can bring your dreams to life. Noelle is passionate about helping women step into their identity and power so they can create the life they desire. She is the author of Dream Life Planner. Move from tired and overwhelmed to free and empowered. She's also the co-author of Achieve Wellness and the pretty half of the Smiling Coaching Couple. Noelle helps women awaken their dreams and design a path to reach them. She works with you on your identity, values, and boundaries by raising your awareness and your innate purpose and desire, allowing you to align your daily tasks and goals with your life's dream. Noelle, I am so excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Lynn. It is a pleasure.
Well, so as we dive into this incredible topic, for those of you who are joining us for that very first time, make sure you don't miss a single episode of Claim Your Career Crown wherever you get your podcasts. You can hit subscribe. And if you love the show and you love what we're doing, please go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. We would very much appreciate it. All right, Noelle, let's get right into diving in about manifesting and dreaming. And I'm really interested to hear what inspired you to get started.
And so I spent 20 years in ministry, and you see lots of different people, lots of things that go on. I felt like I was in a good place in life. Was healthy. I wasn't in a doctor's care for anything. And one Monday morning, I ended up in ICU. Oh. I spent 6 hours in an open heart surgery and 13 days in hospital. And that kind of just shakes your core. And I ended up spending many months afterwards slowly reflecting on who I am and where I'm supposed to be. And when it comes down to it, if I think back all the way to preteen years, God's been working in my life and things have happened to bring me to where I am today. And now I could purposefully think of who I want to be and what I want to become instead of letting the universe decide for me.
All right. Well, that's wonderful. So when we talk about vision and manifesting and using your dreams, how do you do this? And do you have a specific process, or how do you work with your clients?
Yeah, we look at what are your visions? What's your purpose? What's your priorities? What are your values? And get into the core of who you are as a person. We as women take on all these roles, and mom and wife and daughter and employee and PTA rep and teacher's aide. Everything is just a piece. And for me, all these pieces were taking over who I was, and I never took time to think of who I am. So I like to work with women and figure out who they are at the core of their life and of their personality and what their desires are, so that they can build a life and build that big dream of who they want to be and make it come true, because we really need to be living our dreams today, not someday down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very well said. So I'd love to dig more, Lynn, about the process, and how you use the dreaming so that you can bring your dreams to life.
So I like to talk about dreaming specifically and being be big, because it needs to be bigger than what you think can happen so that you're actually dreaming, but be very specific. For example, in 2018, I wrote on a bucket list, I wanted to be a stay-at-home grandma. And now that looks different for many people. It could look different of what that actually means. For me, I was starting into the grandmother journey, and I wanted to be available for my grandson and his cousins and siblings when the time came. What did that look like? I wanted to be available. I wanted to be financially able, but physically able to be there. And then in 2020, we all know COVID came. And my job at the time was working for the state of Colorado. They sent us home. So now I was a stay-at-home grandma with a job. So I wasn't specific enough in that request to not have a job. So I was available kind of, but I didn't have the time that I could take off to be there. You've got to be very specific on those dreams. You want to dream big so that it's more than you can handle, and you're going to have to actually work, and the universe is going to have to be involved, and that big dream is out there, and it can happen, but it's going to take more than just the normal things that are already happening. But you want to be specific. You don't want to just get a dream car, print a picture of some fancy car and put it on your dream board. Be specific. What kind of car, what brand, what make, what model, what year, what color, what accessories, how many doors, everything. Be specific, and don't just print off the one off the website. Go out and build it out so you know exactly what you're getting there, and print the build sheet so that you can be specific, and you, the universe, the world can be working with you to make that dream a reality.
It reminds me of when I was first in outside sales that I actually put a framed poster of my dream car up, and I never did buy that dream car because my dreams changed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out of townhouse, and then it was to get a house, and no regrets, never looked back. So
yeah. And it's always your dreams are always going to be good, but if you want that specific thing, you know what steps it's going to take to get there.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. And I achieved those steps. It's just that I pivoted.
Yeah.
As to what that dream was. So I'm curious, as you're working with individuals and you look back at yourself, what was there something that held you back from manifesting your dream, other than being specific, that you needed to overcome?
I had to start thinking of myself. So I spent 20 years in ministry plus many years in employment doing what needed done. I was the kind of person that was just saying yes to everything. If I can do it, yep, let's do it. Because obviously that's what I should be doing, right? That's what's coming into my world. I never took the time to think of what is perfect for me. What is it that I really can do? What are my skill sets? What's my experience meant for? Should this be something I am doing, or is it better for somebody else? Because not every opportunity is meant for me. I can't do it all. It's not going to work that way. Maybe that's somebody else in my circle that I need to encourage to do that task, or that I could empower. And for me, it really took this last year to evaluate who I am and realize that it's okay to think of who I am. And we talk a lot about self-care nowadays, and the oxygen mask. We really have to think of ourselves. What are we on this earth for? What is our purpose? I don't think about it hard because it's in the past. But if I had thought about who I was supposed to be years ago, how much more productive or impactful could I have been doing what I was supposed to do instead of just whatever came around?
Yeah, that's very true. And, you referred to boundaries, also in your bio, and then you've alluded to them here. And so, I always think of that as one thing that can hold people back, is that, especially with women, is that desire to say yes, to be helpful, to be there. And that's just one example. But what have you found? Are there some generalizations about what holds people back that you work with when you're trying to help them do that visualization and manifestation?
I think our own mind is probably our biggest enemy. What we think about, I like to call it malware. So the programming that was placed by influencers in our past, sometimes very subconsciously, and that we don't even know that it's there. It may have been things that we heard, things that we implied with reactions and situations, if our parents are fighting or somebody says something, or for me, an example that comes to mind is that my dad got rid of a dog we had when I was probably 3 years old. He never knew that I felt sad or upset that I didn't get the dog to go with us when we moved to the house until I was probably 45. And he's like, I never knew. But that just places this perception in our mind that we struggle to get over. We even struggle to acknowledge that it's there. It's just it's who we are. And when we can take time to look at our timeline, look at our history, and think about the major influences in our life: teachers, friends, bullies, problems, accidents, trauma, things that happen that plant a seed in our subconscious that makes our minds think a certain way. We really have to use those affirmations and the I am statements to overcome those situations and those things that we tell ourselves. And if you think about how many times it takes a child to learn a positive thing, we say negative things a lot. And I think it's like 10 to 1 that we need to do 10 positives for every negative. It's the same thing with our own minds. If we've got this negative thought in our head that we've been telling ourselves for 30, 40, 50 years, how many positive times we need to say the opposite to overcome that? And so that reprogramming, that malware, I think, is a major issue to being able to get past ourselves and manifest and dream what's actually possible.
Yeah, no, I love this because I know I talk a lot about negative Nelly and negative Ned. And, as an animal, which human beings are a species, we actually are programmed to have more negative thoughts because it's survival. And so we have to instead, that's just the way, that's how you survive, right? And so we do have to really look at what are those negative thoughts? Are they valid? Is it just negative Nelly whispering in your ear? And what's the positive side in that affirmation or that I am statement that can really lift you up and take you out of that negative path? So I'm curious, if you have a specific piece of advice that you could give to our audience about how they could do a better job of, that visualization and manifestation, and how they could maybe structure, their activity around dreaming, so that they could really realize the benefits.
And when I like to journal, and I really encourage people to journal. It's like first thing in the morning, if you were just to write out your dream, put it into words, you've got your dream board up on the wall, but every day thinking through, what does it look like? What is the life that I want to live? And like I said, be specific. Don't just say, I want to have a good job. I want to be making this much money and I want to be doing these kinds of things. Because it's unique to you.
Right.
The kinds of dreams and things that I would want to do may not resonate with you, and it's not going to help you and encourage you. But if you can get a good start on your day in positive way, thinking through what you want to be the outcome, even if you're dreaming about, okay, today, this is what it's going to look like, or this week, this is what I want to do this weekend. So I have to accomplish this, this, and this by the weekend, but write it down, make it true, share it with a friend to be the next step. If you share it with somebody, they may not necessarily need to keep you accountable, but you told them. And so now your conscious knows that you've told them and that it's verbalized. And that makes a huge difference. So you write it and you read it later on in the day, share it with a friend so it's verbal, and make your dream actually happen, because you're telling yourself it's going to happen. Don't use the word no. Don't use the word not. Don't use the word someday or maybe or I want to. Be specific in that, in your verbiage too, so that you are consciously saying, I will do this. I will be here. I will be this kind of person, because you're telling your subconscious that. You're not just saying it. It's not happening. You're putting words into the air. You're telling your mind that this is what's going to actually happen, and that your mind has to follow through.
Yeah, that's that programming.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you so much. That is a great suggestion that everyone in our audience can follow and really incorporate into their life. So Noelle, thank you so much for sharing about vision and manifesting, why dreaming big can bring your dreams to life. So I know that our audience is going to want to know more about you and where they can find you.
Yeah, my website is addvalue2life.com. It's addvalue2life.com. And I'm also on social media at into R2 Peterson.
All right. Well, we're going to have those links right below so that Noelle is just one click away. And Noelle, thank you so much. This has been such an informative discussion. And for those of you who tuned in, thank you so much. And we love hearing from you. And if you have ideas that you'd like to share, you can leave them in the comment section down below. Or if you have a specific question or a topic that you would like to have us discuss, please email us at jointheconversation@petite2queen, the digit 2, queen.com. And to stay current on all of our insightful advice, our breakthrough advantages, the amazing resources that we have, and of course, never miss an episode of Claim Your Career Crown, you can sign up for our weekly Wisdoms newsletter and you will never miss out. Thank you all for tuning in to this wonderful episode. And Noelle, thank you so much for giving us this guidance on how we can visualize and then manifest our dreams.
Thank you so much, Lynn. It's been a pleasure, and everybody keep dreaming.